Mission Control is sort of the fusion of two other features from previous versions of OS X, Expose and Spaces. Mission Control gives you a quick way to see everything you have going on in your Mac. All the open apps and documents are displayed at once. It also lets you control and navigate to multiple desktops or spaces. On most Mac keyboards, you'll be able to activate Mission Control by using the F3 key. I can also use my trackpad by swiping up with 4 fingers. Another keyboard shortcut is Control and up arrow. I'm going to open a couple Finder windows, a couple windows in Safari, and some other apps. At this point I have a pretty crowded display. I'll activate Mission Control and things are a little easier to deal with. The open windows for each application are grouped together with the application's icon displayed in front of them. So if I want to go back to the apple.com page in Safari, I can locate it easily, click, and it is brought to the front. I can also use Quick Look while Mission Control is activated. Hit the spacebar when you are over the window you want to get a better look at. It will zoom in on that window. This is a really good way to get a look at a window that is mostly hidden behind another in Mission Control. I can also just activate Mission Control for a single app. If I open multiple windows in Safari, I can then do 4-finger swipe down on the trackpad or use Control down arrow on the keyboard to just view the current application's windows. The other function of Mission Control is to manage and view spaces or multiple desktops. When in Mission Control, at the top of the screen I can see my desktop and to the left of that, my dashboard. Click Dashboard and the screen will change to a view of the current dashboard widgets I have installed. These can be dragged around and placed where you want. Or click this plus icon to add widgets. So I am currently in the dashboard space. To get back to my desktop, I can either activate Mission Control and click on the desktop, or I can use a 4-finger swipe to the left on my trackpad to slide over directly to my main desktop. The keyboard shortcut for this is Control right arrow. Control left arrow or a 4-finger swipe to the left to get back to dashboard. Desktops can be added via Mission Control. When in Mission Control, bring your cursor to the upper right of the screen. A rectangular New Desktop button with a plus icon slides out. Click this and Desktop 2 is created. Now I can slide over to that new desktop. Here I have an empty desktop to open whatever I want. I'll open iPhoto and Pixelmator on this desktop. Now as I go into Mission Control from Desktop 2, I can return to Desktop 1 with a single click. It's also possible to move windows between these desktops. I'll take iPhoto from Desktop 2 over to Desktop 1. I can also drag the iPhoto window to the top area of Mission Control automatically place it in a new Desktop 3. Now I can switch between 3 desktops and dashboard. Full screen apps, which is a major new feature in Lion, reside on their own desktop. So if I go into Desktop 3 and put iPhoto into full screen mode by clicking the arrows in the upper right of its window, it gets presented on its own iPhoto desktop in Mission Control. Desktop 3 is now empty. So I can delete that one by hovering over it for a second in Mission Control and then clicking the X. So now I'm down to 2 desktops and full screen iPhoto along with dashboard. Now let's go into the Mission Control preferences and take a look at some other settings. The first checkbox will let me remove dashboard as a space. With this unchecked, when I activate dashboard, which is with F4 on most Mac keyboards, it now appears directly over my desktop. I can interact with it the same as before by moving around or adding widgets. Unchecking automatically rearrange spaces based on recent use will keep your desktops always in the same order. With it checked, they will change the order they are in based on when you last used them. This can get a little confusing, so I like to leave this one unchecked. This third option just says that if I click on an app that has open windows in a different space, I will get moved to that space. In the lower half of this window, I can set different keyboard shortcuts for Mission Control commands. And at the very bottom, I can set hot corners. So if I set the upper left to Mission Control, when I move my cursor to the very top left corner of my screen, Mission Control activates. I'll set the upper right corner to wipe all windows away and just show my desktop.